What's up, everyone? Wow, UFC 315 just wrapped, and let me tell you, it actually turned out better than anyone expected. There were moments that had me on the edge of my seat, and yeah, some moments that left me scratching my head, but overall, this card delivered a solid night of fights, surprises, and emotions. Let's just dive right in because that main event, absolutely wild. Della Maddalena versus Belal Muhammad was the showstopper of the night. Jack walked away with the unanimous decision win, 48-47, 48-47, and even 49-46 from one judge. But let's be honest here, what in the world was Belal doing? Like, seriously. He kept saying he was going to stand and bang with Jack, but I didn't think he'd actually try it for that long. It took him nearly the entire first round, 4 minutes in, to even shoot his first takedown attempt, and he only went for another in the second round. It wasn't until the fourth and fifth rounds that he finally started fighting the way we all expected him to from the beginning. That's the Belal we know. But why did it take him so long? Maybe all the criticism got in his head. Maybe he didn't want to be seen as the boring guy anymore. And the way he walked to the octagon, man, he was dancing. Belal dancing? When have we ever seen that? He felt like he was trying to prove something. Maybe to himself, maybe to the fans, but in doing so, he played right into Jack's game. Jack, on the other hand, was a whole different beast tonight. His striking, next level. The guy was laser focused. His combos were clean, his footwork was tight, and his defense crazy sharp. I've never seen him move like that. His takedown defense especially was on point. He was up against the best wrestler of his career, and yet he showed the best takedown defense we've ever seen from him. Maybe those past struggles, like the Gilbert Burns broken arm fight or the brutal double weight cuts, were never really showing the best Jack tonight. This was the best version of Jack Della and Maddalena. No injuries, no excuses. From the press conference to the weigh-ins, he looked dialed in, and now the welterweight division might just have a killer champ if Jack sticks around. But that's the thing, he's set to fight Islam Makhachev next. Is Islam moving up? Are they going to make him vacate the lightweight title? Will they slap an interim belt on the line for Ilya and Charles? Ilya already said he's not about that interim life, so the UFC's got a tough decision on their hands. Personally, I'm more hyped for Jack versus Islam than Ilya versus Islam. Jack's size, his striking, his takedown defense, he actually stands a chance against Islam. I still might lean toward Islam winning, but Jack has a clear path to victory, and that's more than I can say for a lot of Islam's opponents. And Belal? Honestly, it's time for him to face Ian Garry. And while we're at it, let's get Sean Brady versus Shavkat Rakhmonov lined up for the #1 contender spot. That is, if Shavkat recovers from surgery. The dude's looking skinny, maybe even a lightweight now. But if he can bounce back in time, let them fight on the same card as Jack versus Islam. If not, maybe Brady versus Buckley if Buckley takes down Usman. Things are heating up in the welterweight division, and Shavkat can't be sitting out forever while these guys stack wins. Moving on to the co-main event, Valentina Shevchenko did it again. She defended her title against Manon Fiorot, and get this, as the underdog. How does that make sense? She's still one of the GOATs, and yet the odds makers had her as the underdog. Crazy. Manon's biggest advantage was clear, her size and strength. She's built like a tank up top, and she used that to smother Valentina against the fence. It was like watching someone wrestle a tree trunk. But Valentina, being the savvy veteran she is, found ways to escape and counter. She even landed a stunning spinning kick that reminded everyone why she's still a problem for anyone at flyweight. The fight wasn't a barn burner, to be honest, but Valentina did enough, and now she's got to face Natalia Silva next. That's going to be a tough fight for both of them, but I'm leaning towards Silva. As for Manon, maybe it's time to face Macy Barber. Speaking of Zahabi and Aldo, oh man. Zahabi walked away with the decision win, but did he really win? Jose Aldo came out swinging in the first round, looking like his old self with that Muay Thai stance. Sure, he didn't throw as many kicks as we hoped, but his hands were doing damage. Zahabi barely did anything in the first round. The second round was tighter. Zahabi landed more shots, but it's up for debate if Aldo still edged it. Honestly, I need to rewatch it, same at the third, but if you look at the damage, Aldo almost finished Zahabi in the third round. That could have been enough to swing the round, maybe even the fight in his favor. Me? I had it 29-28 Aldo. Heck, you could even make an argument Aldo won all 3 rounds. But hey, the judges didn't see it that way. And then there's the retirement. Aldo took off his gloves, did the post-fight interview, and it felt like the end. The man's a legend, and even though he couldn't make weight this time, the first time in his career, by the way, I say give him a pass. He looked drained, especially after that crazy third round where he punted Zahabi in the face like it was a street fight. Zahabi somehow survived, but Aldo gave everything he had in that moment. After that flurry, he had nothing left. He literally just pulled guard and sat there while Zahabi cut him up with elbows. It was heartbreaking, man. Aldo's gas tank was done. He looked at the clock like a video game character with an empty stamina bar. And yeah, it was vintage Aldo for those 30 seconds. I'll miss seeing him in the octagon. If this is truly the end, I wish him nothing but happiness in retirement. He gave us everything. And Zahabi, props to him. He survived the war and walked away with the win. I say line him up against Henry Cejudo, or maybe even Marlon Vera, since that's who he called out. Let's keep this energy rolling because Natalia Silva was straight up surgical in her fight against Alexa Grasso. It wasn't even close. Silva put on a masterclass in striking, moving like a phantom, constantly switching angles and keeping Grasso guessing all night. She made it look like a mismatch, even though Grasso was the former champ not that long ago. Silva's lateral movement, those sharp check hooks, and the endless variety of kicks, man, she had Grasso trapped in a nightmare. She hit her with body kicks, head kicks, leg kicks, spinning kicks, you name it, Silva threw it. And that head kick in the third round, that would have dropped anyone, but somehow Grasso just ate it and kept fighting. Grasso tried to cut her off and land, but every time she planted her feet, Silva was already gone or firing back with a counter. Silva might be the most dangerous striker in the division now, and honestly, her next fight with Shevchenko, that's gonna be wild. The only question is whether Silva can keep up that kind of footwork and energy for 5 rounds. She looked fresh after 3, but 5? We'll see. As for Grasso, maybe a fight against Rose Namajunas makes sense now. It's one of the few fresh matchups for both. Now let's talk about Benson Dennis. BSD is an animal. He submitted Kyle Prepelic in the second round with an arm triangle choke. Total domination. From the moment the fight started, BSD was all over Kyle. He had him in back control for almost the entire first round, throwing elbows, looking for the choke and just smothering him. Prepelic though, props to him, the guy showed heart. Even though he was stuck in bad positions, he defended like a warrior, especially on short notice. But BSD, he was too much. Those elbows, the pressure, the ground control, it was suffocating. And in the second round, he finally locked in that arm triangle and finished it. I'd love to see BSD face Mateusz Gamrot next, or maybe even reschedule his fight with Joel Alvarez. Oh, and can we talk about Mike Malott? Wow, the Canadian star came in hot and knocked out Charles Radke. I expected more grappling from Mike, but nope. He showed everyone he's got hands. Malott was patient, landing clean shots, and when the opening came, boom! That left hook, perfectly timed, rocked Radke, and what's crazy, Malott threw it from an orthotic stance even though he's a lefty. That shows the level of confidence and skill he has throughout the fight. Malott was moving smoothly around the octagon, mixing up his attacks, pushing Radke back with side kicks, and setting traps. A complete performance, and now the future's looking bright for Malott. And speaking of Canadian stars, Jasmine Jasudavicius was on fire. She ran through Andrea Lee like it was nothing. She shot for the double leg, got the body lock, and slammed Lee to the ground. She made it look easy. Jasmine didn't waste time. She landed ground and pound, took the back, and secured the rear naked choke. That was a statement win. Honestly, I think it's time for Jasmine to face someone like Erin Blanchfield in a #1 contender fight. She's ready. As for Andrea Lee, maybe a fight against Tracy Cortez makes sense. Now, the fight between Modestas Bukauskas and Ion Cutelaba. That one was close. Most people thought Cutelaba won, and I agree, Bukauskas just didn't do enough in the first 2 rounds. He came alive in the third, but Cutelaba outworked him for most of the fight. That spinning kick from Cutelaba was wild though, nearly knocked himself out with it. Shouts out to the ref for separating them from the clinch when nothing was happening, but yeah, close fight overall. And how about Nursiet over Johan Leines? By decision, solid performance. Earthland was landing some heavy right hands early on, but Ruziboev adjusted, used his kicks to keep the distance, and found his rhythm. Earthland shot for a takedown, but Ruziboev reversed him and took control on the ground. Ruziboev even dropped Earthland in the third round with a shot that looked borderline to the back of the head, but Earthland turned his head at the last moment, so it was clean. Good win for Ruziboev. And then there was Marc-Andre Barrio knocking out Bruno Silva. That one was hard to watch, man. Silva has never been KO'd before in his career, and now 5 losses in a row, and the way he fell. Man, it wasn't good. Burial pinned him against the fence and unleashed a barrage of elbows that left Silva limp on the canvas. Silva's career might be in serious trouble now. Next up was Daniel Santos beating Lee Jae-yong. Santos moved up to featherweight for this one and basically wrestled his way to a win. Not the most exciting fight, but he did what he had to do. Bexar Alican stole the show with a Derek Lewis-style uppercut KO against Brad Katona. It was brutal. Katona went for the takedown and Bex timed the uppercut perfectly. Katona's a good fighter, but Bex is something else. The dude might be the hardest hitter in the division right now. His highlight reel is insane. Performance bonuses? I'd say Bex deserves one. Jasmine and Mike Malott too. And of course, fight of the night goes to the main event, Belal vs Jack. And that's UFC 315 in the books, folks. From wild knockouts to emotional retirements, this card gave us everything. It wasn't perfect, maybe a 6 out of 10 for a pay-per-view, but it had moments that'll be remembered for a long time. Hope you guys enjoyed it as much as I did. See you in the next one.